It's another book movie battle. Let's see who came victorious for The Great Gatsby. Scarlet Pen. I am an author, creativity chaser, and book lover, and today I'm doing another book versus movie. I'm having a lot of fun with this series, just so you know. I get to read the book and watch the movie, compare, contrast, decide which was better, and share all of my thoughts with you guys. And so I'm actually going back to the archives for some of these books, and there are some fun things coming up, so keep an eye on the series because there's some really fun things happening. But today, we're talking A Great Gatsby. It always amazes me to find out just how many movies really came from books, and The Great Gatsby was one of them. I think I knew in the back of my mind that this one was from a book, but when the movie came out, I wasn't really into it. I didn't really watch it much, but I did watch it just recently as part of my classic collection movie edition, where it was like a classic movie that people talked about and whatever, and I finally watched it. And when I did find out that it was based off a book, I decided to add it to this series as well. Yeah. So I ended up watching the movie first and reading the book second. I think most of these are going to happen that way, where I've seen the movie first and then realized I've decided that that's okay. It's an interesting story as a whole. I think it's like set back in the 20s. There is a guy with a mansion who has all these parties, and then there's this tragic love story situation happening in the background out of nowhere. It's kind of an odd story to begin with. I think that the book, I'm going to start with the book. The book itself is really beautifully written. It's eloquent and it's very wordy. It's very literature. For me personally, literature is not a genre I enjoy very much. Not because I can't appreciate the beauty in the way that it's written, more so that I can't focus. I think that when it comes to, I'm going to use the word eloquent. When it comes to eloquent writing, I get distracted by that. So I can't enjoy the plot, I can't enjoy the story, I can't enjoy the characters, because the writing itself, the writing style, has become a character and a distracting part of the book for me. So I can't engage very much with a story or with characters in an eloquent novel. So because of that, I appreciate the beauty that comes from this type of writing style, but I can't engage very well with it. And I don't enjoy reading them because of that fact. Because I can't engage in the story and I can't really delve into it because of that distraction. I find it difficult to sit down and read these types of books. I had a feeling that that would be the kind of style that The Great Gatsby was moving into it, so I already was expecting that, and it very much was. So even though it was beautifully written, it was a challenge for me to get through. The actual story itself, even when I watched the movie, I didn't enjoy the story really, to be honest. I think it was very... the idea was to shed this light on the sort of darker sort of themes of the 20s. The concept was really cool. I just didn't like the story. It felt really... the characters were really... how do you even describe that? It wasn't my favorite story. The characters weren't my favorite either. So it was difficult for me to engage first on the type of writing style, and then second on the fact that I didn't like the story and I didn't like the characters. When I compare the book to the movie, one thing was really, really clear. They stuck really well to the actual story, the actual plot, the story. Other books that I've read so far haven't done a fabulous job at sticking really relatively true. They get the main points, but they miss a lot of the smaller things and the things that I felt were important to the storyline, and they miss those out and what have you. This actually did a pretty good job at sticking with most of the stuff in the book and most of this main storyline. There were changes, of course, and there were bits and pieces here and there. That's just always going to happen. But they did a really great job, I think personally, of sticking with this main narrative, this main characters, you know, that sort of situation. They stuck pretty close to. And I was really glad for that, because a lot of what was being described in this book, a lot of the visuals and a lot of what was being so eloquently described was just way better seen in film. It was so great to see. In the film, everything was very like, it was a well done film, I will say that, but everything was really just well presented. Everything was crazy, like the visuals were really, really fun and good. Even though the story itself I didn't enjoy. The visuals of the movie was really well done. And so being able to see that as opposed to read it in this eloquent wordiness was much better for me personally. I think it was much better and much easier to follow this storyline and go through this story with these characters in a visual medium. For that reason, I still don't like the story. I still don't like the characters. I knew a lot of the actors in the film, so that helped. I did prefer the film over the book. I think that being able to see these things described as a visual was actually much better, to see it that way and experience the story that way. Just personally, that's how I thought. Have you read and seen The Great Gatsby? What were your thoughts on this book? Let me know in the comments. And if you like this video, like and subscribe. If you don't, that's okay too. But thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys in the adventures.